Oh boy, my two favorite things, Sonic apologetics and historical revisionism. You know what? I'm tired of making perfect videos that everyone loves. I miss getting tons of pissed off comments calling me an idiot. So, Sonic Superstars. People are pretty down on this game, and honestly, I distinctly remember when I finished playing it after it came out, I walked away with a pretty sour taste in my mouth too. I didn't hate it, but I also couldn't really bring myself to love it either. However, I decided to boot it up again recently and play through the game in time attack mode, and I noticed something. I was actually having fun. What the hell is going on? Well, if you've played the game before, you probably already know what I'm getting at when I said I launched the game in time attack mode, meaning I could just focus on playing through the stages and I didn't have to fight any of those bosses. If you haven't played the game before, you might be thinking, there's no way the bosses ruin the whole game, but, well, they kind of do. They definitely fuck up the pacing. They're mostly just easy and boring, but the bad ones are really bad, particularly the final bosses, but we'll get to that later. So I want to make it perfectly clear, of all the things I will be defending about this game, the bosses are not one of them. Holy shit, they fucking suck. At least after you've played through the game once, it's nice enough to give you a mode where you never have to fight them again. But why are the game's bosses so bad? Well, there's probably a multitude of factors, but I think it can mostly be traced back to this game's weird insistence on 4-player co-op. Like, for whatever reason, they really wanted this to be the new Super Mario Bros. Of Sonic. It's an idea that probably made sense on paper, like playing with friends is fun, but there's kind of a key difference between Sonic and Mario. Sonic is way faster, so trying to keep all 4 players on screen is going to be a total clusterfuck. When they first announced this feature, I was worried they were going to slow the gameplay down to compensate, but thankfully they didn't. However, just trying to keep 2 people on screen is a tall order, let alone 4. I only had the chance to try 4-player multiplayer once on a PS4, and the whole game was lagging too. It was not a super playable experience. Anyways, I believe this entire misguided attempt led to the bosses being balanced around the possibility of there being 4 players at once, so that's why they had to make some adjustments so they don't just get melted instantly, which is probably why there's so much boring waiting around for them to become vulnerable. However, despite the god-awful bosses, Sonic Superstars is actually guilty of a far greater crime. A crime which can never be forgiven. The crime of not being Sonic Mania 2. Everyone, me included, wanted the incredible Mania team to follow it up with a sequel. After Mania dropped to glowing reviews, people were talking about Mania 2 like it was inevitable. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, Sega could not come to an agreement with them and they went their separate ways. Just recently, Christian Whitehead even posted a picture from a 2.5D prototype Evening Star developed as a potential follow-up to Mania. Ooh, it would have been amazing if they could have developed this, but that is unfortunately not the world we live in. I will say there's some fake Momentum fans out there who haven't even checked out Evening Star's debut game, Penny's Big Breakaway. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I know it didn't immediately click with a lot of people, probably because much like the classic Sonic games, you actually have to put in some time and effort into mastering the movement mechanics. But once you do, it's so satisfying to jump and roll around in. Even now I'm embarrassed to show my weak-ass gameplay that I recorded for my first playthrough, considering how much better I know the movement in this game can look when you actually know what you're doing. This is truly one of those games where I implore you not just to try it out, but also check out the world record speedrun when you finish, just so you understand how this game looks when it's being played optimally. Anyways, I'll get back to talking about Superstars in a second, but first, it's everyone's favorite part of the video, ad time. You already know who it is. It's my favorite sponsor, Five, back with their Quick Hits Gummies. First-time customers can get a free bag, just pay for the shipping, and returning customers can get 50% off. Both links are below. Of course, you must be over the age of 21, the legal age required to do cool shit in this country. But guys, I'm worried for my beloved gummy sponsor. Due to this bullshit hemp product ban they snuck into the shutdown bill, I'm not even sure they'll be around a year from now. So if you want to get these dope-ass gummies, you better act fast before the stupid bitch-ass government bans them. I'm telling you, man, these things are pretty good. I gave my mom some and she liked them. And I mean, if the government doesn't want you to have it, it must be good. What more do I need to say? So be sure to order some 5 gummies from the links below while you still can. So when it comes to making a fun classic Sonic game, Superstars got the most important thing right. The physics were good. It did actually feel like a classic Sonic title. It's not one-to-one with the old games, it's not the exact same physics engine, but it's a close enough approximation. There are some minor differences I noticed, like Knuckles doesn't gain momentum when gliding anymore. But unless you're a speedrunner or something, I doubt most of these little differences will be deal breakers for anyone. However, physics are only one piece of the puzzle. You also need well-designed stages, and honestly, most of the stages in here are pretty good. They can't all be winners, but for the most part these are thoughtfully designed multi-tiered 2D Sonic stages. So when I see people out there earnestly comparing this game to Sonic 4, all I have to say is, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, I legitimately am not sure some of you even understand why Sonic 4 is such a bad game. It's not just bad because it's ugly. It's bad because it plays absolutely nothing like a classic Sonic game. I've noticed that there are a lot of people whose primary concern with Sonic games is more about the aesthetics and story, not the actual gameplay. And I don't say this as an insult or anything, there's actually nothing wrong with that. People can enjoy games in different ways. It's just interesting to me, like, if you meet a Mario fan, you can be reasonably sure that they enjoy the games, but like, are there really any Mario fans out there who just love the movie but never played any of the games? Whereas with a Sonic fan, there are so many other points of entry, from the comics to the shows to the movies. There really are tons of people who consider themselves Sonic fans but just don't really fuck with any of the Sonic games. I just kind of feel bad because, like, in an alternate timeline where Sonic Mania never came out, I would be singing this game's praises. Like, imagine going from Sonic 4 to this. I would be saying, finally, return to classic Sonic physics. Except we already got that back in 2017, so it's a little harder to be as jazzed about it this time. I really want to judge this game on its own merits without just constantly comparing it to Sonic Mania or Sonic 4, but I'll be honest, it's kind of hard to do so. I really would have loved a Mania 2. But the further we get away from it, the more I realize that Sonic Mania was like a stars aligning, once in a lifetime kind of miracle. It almost feels greedy to wish for another one, like I should just be grateful that we even got Mania in the first place. As far as the price goes, I really almost never mention this sort of thing because whether a game is worth it or not is kind of your own personal decision to make. I don't really think it's a super constructive way to break down a game's worth by trying to use some formula of dollar value per hour of entertainment or whatever, especially considering these classic Sonic games are kind of meant to be replayed. But it is kind of crazy this game was $60 on release and Sonic Mania was only $20. Like, that seriously did not help the already dire comparisons. Although I will say you can just wait for it to go on sale for around that price if you want. Like, I think it's on sale for around $20 right now. Some people want to say this game was doomed because it was releasing the same week as Super Mario Wonder, especially since the 2D Mario games had finally just ditched that soulless new Super Mario Bros. Style. But let's be real here, it's not like if Wonder never existed, this game would have suddenly sold 10 times as many copies. I'm honestly just not sure how much of a mainstream appetite there is for 2D Sonic games in this day and age. I mean, I love them obviously, I think it would be very cool to have them release 2D Sonic games alongside the mainline 3D ones. But I'm not going to be that surprised if they decide it's too niche a market these days. At least there are plenty of great Sonic-inspired indie games. The soundtrack for this game also seems to be somewhat controversial. I would say the songs range from amazing to pretty good, which for any other game would be fine, it's just that we Sonic fans expect nothing less than absolute perfection when it comes to music. The tracks T-Lopes contributed are absolute bangers. I will say some of the tracks seem like they're trying a little too hard to sound retro, which is like, you're already moving away from the pixel art, you don't need to try and make the song sound like they're on the Genesis. Another contentious aspect, the game's art style. Like, as much as I love high quality pixel art, in fact I still think Mania doesn't get enough credit for how absolutely beautiful it is. I'm not surprised they moved to 3D. Games like this are just easier to make nowadays, and for what it's worth, I think the game looks pretty good. I still think classic Sonic is a cute critter. The game features all new zones, although some like Bridge Island, Sand Sanctuary, and Frozen Base are pretty standard level themes done competently. Some level themes I was kind of neutral on, like this Klonoa-ass looking level. However, there were a few levels I quite liked. Pinball Carnival was a fun level, and I enjoyed how the theming changed for Act 2 to be all spooky. Like the Badniks and Ghost costumes was a nice touch. Plus the level has a Tails doll cameo. Cyber Station isn't like the most mind-bogglingly original concept ever, but it looks pretty cool. These are trying something different. The mouse transformation is pretty cute. There were some other interesting little references and deep cuts, like Golden Capital Zone was based on a piece of concept art Naoto Oshima came up with for Sonic 1. It's more than just the loop design. The translation for this Japanese text reads, "Metallic stage, a gleaming gold-plated landscape with a Southeast Asian feel." So it's kinda cool they were able to recycle cut concepts from all the way back in Sonic 1. Okay, the auto-scrolling part at the end of Golden Capital Act 2 still sucks, but it's nothing compared to that god-awful boss fight. It's tolerable in time attack mode. The final stage, I really wanted to like it more than I actually did, because it has some interesting ideas. Like the concept of beating Act 1 then having to go through it backwards while time reverses is actually pretty cool. Riding the falling platforms up is fun. There's just a few things about it that kind of suck, like it's really easy to get squished by the platforms, and you have to do those boring ass zero gravity sections again, which are super slow. And boy did I fucking groan when I saw the darkness gimmick in Speed Jungle Act 2. Like, who the fuck has ever been excited about not being able to see in a fast-paced 2D platformer? It doesn't help the Sonic 4 comparisons when you're literally bringing back annoying-ass gimmicks from that game. But, that said, it is used pretty minimally in the stage, like it really doesn't ruin the whole level or anything. So it's like, why even bother including it? On paper, I feel like I should hate Frozen Base Act 2 for being another gimmick stage, but I just can't bring myself to. In fact, I actually kind of like it. It's a loving tribute to Fantasy Zone, and you know we love Opa Opa on this channel. It's ultimately very short and inoffensive, plus the way each character has their own vehicle based on the different Eggmobiles is kind of a nice touch. As far as the Emerald powers go, they range from kinda cool to totally pointless. Like, did we really need the Lens of Truth in a Sonic game? Some were fun, like Bullet, even if it does feel a little overpowered. And the water one was alright to have in water sections, but nothing too mind-blowing. I like that the water one makes you immune to getting crushed, that's neat. Overall, I just kept forgetting I had them. Like, the game does sometimes prompt you to use them in appropriate locations, so I did try them out a little, but I mostly wanted to focus on just playing it like a normal Sonic game. Obviously, I was happy to see Fang back, even though by the end of his boss fight I was so annoyed that I was kinda hoping Trip canonically killed him. I guess that's a good sign, right, if you hate the villain? I do actually hope he shows up again sometime, even if he is banished to the classic dimension. I mean, I did make that whole promotional video talking about him. I think we need a good playable Fang appearance. You know, I like that there were those character-specific zones, that was pretty neat. Even though I feel like there's not that much you can do with a Sonic-exclusive level. I mean, all he really has as special movement abilities is Drop Dash, which is an amazingly fun move, don't get me wrong. But you can't really design cool, unique levels around it the way you can Tails' flight or Knuckles' wall-climbing gliding abilities. Amy's unique stage was mostly about some fruit gimmick, which I didn't totally understand the point of, but the part where you carry Trip around was neat. Speaking of Trip, I think she's a great new character. Cute design, and I thought her moveset was pretty fun. Being able to double jump and roll up walls and ceilings honestly made her kind of feel like a Chaotix character. Her harder New Game Plus is reminiscent of the Knuckles route from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's fun using her abilities in stages designed specifically for her. I will say, I absolutely fucking burst out laughing at her super form. I mean, come on, look at this goofy ass fucking dragon looking thing. This shit is hilarious. And on the subject of dragons, I was not a big fan of the true final boss. I mean, supersonic final boss fights are always kind of whatever, since ironically it's not a true final test of the core skills you've been developing all game. It just thrusts you into some brand new moveset. This is not a new issue, so frankly I'm usually okay with the fact that these are usually easy and mostly for the spectacle. However, this one fails at both by being annoyingly difficult and weirdly long, as well as not really that much of a spectacle. So now let me talk about the true final bosses, aka the non-true regular final bosses. Now first off, let me just say from a visual design perspective, I mostly like both of these mechs. Like, I mean, I guess I would have preferred if the final boss wasn't just another modified Death Egg robot. But as far as Death Egg robots go, I actually do kind of like the samurai looking design it's got, that's pretty funny. And the Fang mech is just hilarious for obvious reasons, although I do wish he actually had like a giant robot hat instead of just that weird brown spot on his head. Kinda looks like he's wearing a yarmulke or something. However, unfortunately, when it comes to the actual gameplay of these bosses, holy shit they are fucking annoying. Incredibly long, lots of waiting around, with instant kill attacks even if you have rings. Honestly, a mid-boss checkpoint would have alleviated a lot of issues with this fight. I mean, call it a cop-out, but it's not like the rest of Superstars was some incredibly hard and demanding game. I don't see why they wouldn't just throw the player a little bone here. I just feel like if you're gonna make the boss fight this fucking long, then it would be a fair compromise. I mean, the regular final boss took me 7.5 fucking minutes to beat. That is longer than most of the stages, and that was just my final attempt, not even counting all the times I died. And yes, I'm well aware plenty of people who probably haven't even played the game are just going to assume this is some kind of skill issue on my part, but the people who have actually beaten these bosses know what I'm talking about. Dying right near the end of an extremely long boss fight to some bullshit instant kill attack that you didn't know was coming can be very annoying, and then getting tilted just makes you more likely to make a dumb mistake and die on your next attempt. Anyways, I could bitch about the annoying boss fights in this game all day, especially the final bosses, but Ultimately, I contend that not counting the boss fights, the core platforming experience in Sonic Superstars is pretty damn fun. So let me talk about some things in this game that I actually like. I like the old art they used in the menus. Even the giant snake is sort of designed like the snake from this old art, which is why I can tolerate it, but not the giant snake from Sonic Forces. I like the original animations they made for this game, both the in-game cutscenes and the animation they released on YouTube. I liked Big Cucky. I like that there's an Easter egg where if you're going at top speed, sometimes Sonic will whip out a chili dog for like 2 frames. Oh yeah, this game has some interesting skins, like the one based on that rabbit from the early concept art for Sonic 1 by Naoto Oshima. Damn, the first time I brought up this rabbit was in my Sonic 1 bonus video 17 years ago. Here I am, still talking about this fucking rabbit. What a world. Plus there's a cute little shadow outfit that Sonic can wear. There are also these Lego skins and these interesting looking cel-shaded comic style skins. This retro diner skin for Amy was originally only available via redeeming IHOP Pan coins, but now you can just download it for free, thank God. Oh yeah, I almost forgot this game has like a battle mode where you can mix and match robot parts. I mean, there's some cute references in here like Metal Knuckles from Sonic R and parts based on Knights, but it's really hard to care about this superfluous ass battle mode. So my final verdict is Sonic Superstars is actually not that bad. But you know what else? I had to play some Sonic Mania to get footage for this video, and holy fucking shit, that game is amazing! Seriously, everybody go replay Sonic Mania right now, it is so fun. I'm gonna be honest, this was originally part of a longer video talking about various other Sonic things like Shadow Generations and the third movie, but I didn't want this awkward Superstar section crammed in the middle, plus I know all the comments would just be people bitching at me for defending Superstars anyways, so just get it out of your system in this comment section, you filthy animals.